All right, let's dive in. Today, we are unpacking the playbook of a startup that just flat out refused to get lost in the noise. We're talking about Artisan AI and how they told a story so powerful, it felt like the future just decided to show up early. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how they did it.
So here's the million-dollar question, right? You've got this sea of AI companies, hundreds of them, all basically saying the same thing. So how did one startup get everyone, investors, customers, you name it, to just stop and actually listen?
To really get what made Artisan so special, you gotta understand the world they were born into. They were walking straight into a market that was just incredibly loud.
Okay, so put yourself in an investor's shoes for a second. Every single day, you're hearing pitches for AI sales tools, these AI SDRs. After a while, they all just blend together, you know? It's a super crowded space where every promise sounds identical. And that was the massive wall Artisan was up against. They were trying to be heard in a room where everyone was already shouting.
So how in the world did they break through all that noise? Well, it all came down to one single brilliant move. They didn't change the product, they just reframed the entire conversation around this idea of the AI employee.
And this is where you really see the magic. See, anyone can call their product an AI SDR tool. It's fine, it's descriptive, but it puts you in a box with everybody else. It's just another tool. But the first AI employee? Whoa! That's not a product anymore. That is a whole new category. That's a stake in the ground about the entire future of work.
And this right here gets to the absolute core of their strategy. They didn't just describe what the product did, they framed what it meant. Calling it an AI employee instantly makes you curious. It creates this sense of urgency, making people feel like they're looking at something totally new, not just a slightly better version of something they've already seen.
But look, a brilliant idea is one thing. You've got to execute. So how did they take this powerful frame and turn it into real action? Well, they followed this super simple but incredibly effective 4-step playbook. So here's the game plan. We've already nailed step 1, frame the product. Now let's break down the other 3, which are all about execution. Be louder, earlier, move faster, and then, crucially, back it all up with numbers.
The whole philosophy behind their execution really starts with this idea. It's so simple, but so powerful. In a market this noisy, getting people's attention is a form of leverage. It's a resource you can use to make everything else you do way, way bigger. And they didn't just talk about getting attention. Oh no. They went out and grabbed it with a campaign that was literally impossible to ignore. They rolled out a Stop Hiring Humans campaign right in San Francisco, the heart of the tech universe. I mean, it was provocative, it was bold, and it worked. It made everyone turn their heads.
Okay, so their next weapon was speed. It wasn't just about being loud, it was about moving at a pace that just completely shocked people. In the startup world, and especially when you're fundraising, speed completely changes the psychology of the game.
And just look at this timeline. It's wild. They raised a $12 million seed round. Most companies would take a year, maybe more before their next round. Not them. Just 4 weeks later, they closed a $25 million Series A. That is just an insane pace.
And all that speed, all that velocity, it was designed to do one thing: create a massive sense of FOMO, that fear of missing out. When investors see a company moving this fast, they think, I cannot be the one left on the sidelines. It forces money to move so much faster than it normally would, because nobody wants to miss the rocket ship.
All right, so of course you hear all this and you might be thinking, that's a lot of hype, that's a lot of marketing. But was there anything real underneath it all? This is where we find out if the story was backed by substance. We need the proof behind the hype. And this is the final and honestly the most important rule of the playbook. You can shout from the rooftops all you want, but the whole thing comes crashing down if your actual business performance doesn't justify the noise. You have to back up the story with real results. And boy, did Artisan's numbers deliver. First up, $5 million in annual recurring revenue. For a startup this young in a field this crowded, that is a huge signal. That's not just some feel-good metric. That's the kind of hard number that proves your business model actually works, and the customers are happy to pay you for it. And that $5 million, it wasn't just coming from a couple of big, friendly deals. No, it was spread across more than 250 paying companies. This is so important. It shows broad market adoption. It's proof that this AI employee idea wasn't just some clever tagline. It was a message that actually solved a real problem for hundreds of businesses.
And with traction like that,
You know it wasn't just customers who were convinced. The big-name investors took notice. We're talking serious players like Gladebrook Capital and HubSpot Ventures. I mean, getting HubSpot, of all companies, to invest, that's a massive stamp of approval. It's powerful social proof that tells the rest of the market, hey, this company is the real deal.
So when you put all these pieces together, the smart framing, the crazy speed, the hard numbers, you start to realize they were all working towards one ultimate goal: winning the narrative.
And the whole point of winning that narrative is to create this feeling of inevitability. This is when you convince the market that your vision of the future, in this case, the rise of the AI employee, isn't just a cool idea. It's something that is already happening, and you're the one leading the charge.
And that's really the big lesson here. In the AI world today, just having a great product isn't enough to win. The winners are the ones who can take their story and make it feel absolutely inevitable to everyone else.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. Whether you're building a company, investing in one, or just watching all of this unfold, Artisan AI wrote their playbook. So the question for you is, how will you turn your narrative into inevitability?